Dress it up and
Yes, sir. This is how we're going to start it off right here. Lenny Line Pro.
I like it.
Wake your life! Hey. Cheers, man.
Cheers,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Here we are.
Hey, we out here, man. Lenny Line Pro, Alex Linnenkohl. Alex Lenny Line Pro, Linnenkohl. Man, thank you for coming to the show, man. Wake Your Life Up podcast, man. We got Alex here. He was a Olympia, Washington native. We have Oregon State alumni. We have went to the NFL Combine. We went to the Chicago Bears. Played some arena ball. Where we play arena ball at?
The Iowa Barnstormers.
Barnstormers. You know, the ones with the goggles on the top, huh?
Yep.
Yes,
Kurt
sir.
Warner made it famous.
And then we are currently in Beaverton, Portland area, being the go-to guy for offensive linemen, defensive linemen, expertise, man. Thank you for coming to the show, Lenny.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got to give you a shout out for being a main player and making that possible for me since what, late 2016, early 2017.
Yeah.
We've been at it, and you've been providing me the space and availability to be able to go out and get those guys, and then also feeding a lot of guys my way. When you see a big kid,
Man,
throw them over to Lenny.
if I see anybody that's over, actually any size, especially Oregon, you know, you over 5'10", 270, oh yeah.
Yep.
Hit my guy Lenny up, man. He's
Yeah.
going to get you right, guaranteed.
Yeah, you can tell when a young guy's going to be like a big guy, you know?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I'll go to Costco on a Sunday sometimes, just getting a hot dog and samples.
Yeah.
And then I'll walk around and I'll have business cards with me. And
Right by the
every
samples.
time, all the Costco's around here, every time on a Saturday or Sunday, I see some big kids.
Oh, yeah,
And I
guaranteed.
go to their parent, hand them a card.
Yes,
say,
sir,
"Yo,
yes,
do you
sir."
play football?
Hey, we got to get him in there early and often.
Yep, absolutely.
Guaranteed, man. Let me go back just a little bit right there. Actually, Lenny, so I was renting a space, and then I made the decision to get my own space. I wanted to get my first. This is the very first grind time, and I got in contact with Alex, and we're just like, hey man, let's go into this, man. Let's make it happen. Let's use our space, the turf space, the training to kind of elevate grind time and also elevate Line Pro, man. So, you know, Lenny's been here since A1 day one, man. 2017, I believe, spring, and we're here 2023. I mean, 6 years.
Yep.
6 years going strong.
Yep.
Now we're in our bigger facility and it's still rocking, man.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. It's been really awesome to watch both brands grow, but to watch you go into your own space, develop kids, see the bodies change, you know, and then just to see you be kind of consistent through it all, keeping your body up,
Man,
right?
trying to, man. I mean, I'm not getting much taller, so I gotta get a little bit bigger, you know.
Yeah, buddy, I need to get on that. Level.
Yeah, guaranteed.
I like it.
So yeah, Lenny. So man, it's, you know, we started in 2017. You know, how was that? How from the beginning, man? What was your experience at the old gym?
Well, before that, I was in a gym, and it was
right.
just smaller. You know, didn't have very good turf. Very small space to work with, and at times I'd have, you know, maybe 10 to 20 kids in there, and it was just like always tough having to manage that small space. So instantly having more space, you know, having an office, it just kind of immediately made it possible to train more kids, for starters. You know, being around you guys, being around the atmosphere made it easier for me to stay in shape, you know, and get workouts in. And it's really been amazing. You know, it's been a huge blessing. Like, where would I be without you providing that opportunity? So that's been really, really cool. And, you know, looking back, we were just talking a bit ago about some of the different kids we've seen grow up, and it's just been so much fun to be a part of that. You know, a lot of success stories, and just, I mean, probably hundreds or maybe thousands of kids working with them, and then some of them working with you and watching their bodies change. Some of them that haven't worked with you haven't changed their bodies so much, man. But you know, a lot of kids don't know what it takes to really to really make a transition. You know,
Yeah.
so that's been huge. Because when I was in high school, I had a trainer who was really passionate about it. It wasn't a money thing for him. And so I see those same things with you, where that passion really pays off, you know. And I feel like I have some of that too, specifically for the linemen. And like I said, it's just been a blessing to be able to have that opportunity to be here with you.
Man, appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's been a grind, man. And
Yeah, and only getting started.
I know, you know what I mean. This is just the beginning. I feel. I mean, it's been a grind. You know what I mean? Like 2017 to 2020 was not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we made the transition in the worst time that's in our human existence, COVID. I remember our lease was up April of 2020. And then the world shut down March.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, shoot, what do we do now? You know what I mean? But
that was crazy. I mean, the fact that we haven't been in this building without it being the pandemic times until like now.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And it's still, I mean, the residual effect of that, it was like 2020, obviously everything was shut down. We just went 3 times the overhead and everything shut down.
Yeah.
And then we kind of battled through that. And then we're like getting going again and then shut down again.
Yeah.
And then we try to battle through that and then we get going and shut down.
Yeah.
Or there's forest fires or there's
Right.
this or that or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was always something. And then, to 2023, we're in a recession. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah.
So
That was tough on everybody for different reasons, but like that was extremely tough on us. And pretty cool that we're still standing right here.
still breathing.
Yeah.
You know, we were swimming with the concrete boots on, man, and still grinding. You know.
Yeah, that's all we
out
can
here.
do. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I mean, you've been kind of in this area. I mean, you're from Olympia, Washington. You've been in, I guess, this Beaverton, Portland area for, you know, since what, 16, 17, or 15?
Really 2013 is when I first moved down. That season I still played a little bit of arena football. They just had like an emergency. I had already kind of stopped playing and started losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like an emergency situation where they had their center get hurt like on Wednesday and needed a guy for Saturday. And all my teammates were still there. So they're like, let's bring in Lynn.
Oh, yeah.
So I went in at like 270 and had to play against the toughest team with the toughest nose. It was okay.
Yeah.
We got beat by like 40 or 50 points. And I hurt my shoulder a little bit. And then I was like, for sure done playing.
Yeah.
And then I just had the opportunity to move down here. There's some camps going on that wanted me to coach at them pretty regularly. I knew I could do some private lessons. Got an O-line coaching job at Lincoln. Ended up like working at the school for a little bit too. So I was able to just kind of make a slow transition down here. Had a super like cheap place to live with some friends. So that was a golden time. It was a great little transition. And now I've kind of just built around the life here. So yeah, I've been here for almost 10 years now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Man. That's kind of what I mean, you're from the Northwest, but like a lot of like the California or out of state guys, like, man, Oregon's weak, Oregon's this, Oregon's that, you know, da-da-da-da. But then it's like, all right, you're here 15 years, 2 kids.
Right.
You know, a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like you love it here. Or
It's
you just
great.
get trapped in the black hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that happens. You know, I've always thought about moving somewhere else, and then like I'll go visit somewhere, and I'm always wanting to get back here. Because, and the main 2 things is the breathable air and the good tasting drinking water.
Hey,
Like
those are
it crushes me.
2 quality things that you need in life, though.
If I go somewhere and I can't drink the water out of the faucet, I'm just like, I can't live like this.
That's tough.
If I can't go outside, and I'll start sweating like immediately if I'm
Yeah.
in Kansas or wherever else. And then it gets super cold in the winter too.
Yeah.
Like I'll take a little drizzling rain almost year round, and then when we do have those beautiful days, it's incredible. It's the best.
I think that's what gets people too, though. Like, if anybody visits in the summertime or the nice weather, they're like, "Oh, this is God's country. This
Right.
is beautiful."
It is.
You know, but then they you know, going through that winter, you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, this is different."
Yeah.
But then it's like you get through that, and then you see that sun again, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is why I came out here." You know?
Yeah. You know, and I think that you need that. It's like an allegory to life. You know, it's the Wake Your Life Up podcast. And I was thinking about earlier, even like, you know, there's going to be cycles.
Oh yeah.
And I think that to kind of have that with the weather can be a positive thing, that you're having the nice weather and the crap weather.
Well, I mean, it's like you said. I mean, you you don't really appreciate those things if you always have sun.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't appreciate it. I need the sun.
Yeah.
And I'm from out here, but it's like that's why I appreciate it'll be 50 degrees, sunshine pop out, I'm shirt off, getting all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I just appreciate that, and like I don't know, like it's one of those things where you take advantage, and then too though it helps us handle that adversity. Like it's a real mental grind to get through these winters. You know what I mean? Or not even winters, but like the winter, fall, the gray times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, do you have that mental fortitude to grind through that to get to the nice weather?
Yep.
And the nice weather might be a long summer, it might be a short summer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, and that's kind of like life anyways. You can grind, and it might be, you grind your butt off, but it might be long success, and it might be short success. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Mama said there wouldn't be sunshine if it weren't for rain.
exactly. You know what I mean? But definitely those flowers though, and all that, and all the greenery.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing place. So I've been real happy to be here.
Nice.
And then I think with when it comes to like something like the athlete market and the lineman market,
Yeah.
it's interesting because if you're in Texas, Florida, somewhere where it's like extreme, for one, there's gonna be tons of competition.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more players, more kids, more interest, perhaps, and you could win out there. But what's nice here is that there's plenty of kids, and almost like nobody's expecting, like when there's a real killer,
Yeah.
they can really stand out. And then a lot of times even that guy will be unexpected to go like make a mark in college, and a lot of times they if they put the work in during high school, they'll go do that. So it's been kind of fun to be in this pocket where it's almost there's more room to help. Than it would be maybe if you were out in some bigger market.
Well, I mean, there's more wiggle room for the gains, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you go to Cali or Texas or whatever, these kids jump out the womb running 4.4s, you know what I'm saying, doing all this crazy stuff. So it's like it's hard to squeeze out that little last bit of greatness or excellence, right?
It's less challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's more just like, maintenance, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to be the best trainer or the best coach because I got 10 5-star kids. But when you give 10 kids that probably don't want to play football that well, that are not athletic, not quick, no work ethic, how great of a coach can you be, or how great of a trainer or mentor are you to do that? I think that tells me more about you when you have a kid that has 2 left feet and is bad body, not strong, and no one knows about him, and then he trains with you or works with you, and they're like, who is this kid?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, that tells me that's how I knew you were the dude, because I seen your guys. You know what I'm saying? And I've been around, and I seen them from the start, some of the starter sessions to what they do in their senior year, and I'm like, you really develop kids. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's kind of how I am with strength training and receivers.
Totally.
Is it's all about the development, and it's all about the fine-tuned techniques, and that's what's going to help you be successful, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we probably get that because we're, maybe underdog-ish mentality, so it's like we had to do this extra to get noticed or to be productive, right?
Yeah, we are very, similar in that way, because like in high school, I was really just under 6'2", and as a lineman, that's short, right? And that's like barely enough to play at the highest levels. So I was lucky to have that, where I'm like I barely qualify, but it really made it tough to like get that recruiting steam going.
Yeah.
And it was a time, I think you were like 1 year ahead of me, so you remember. But for me, we started early, going to camps, like the marketing side of things. Like we did an excellent job. My dad was awesome with that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, not every kid was doing that back then.
Yeah.
It was before that really started, before social media. It was like right at the beginning, all that. So now in today's game, it's much harder to stand out with marketing and stuff. But like I was lucky to go through it at a time. I do often say, I don't believe if I had to go through it today with all the same factors that I would have made a splash enough to go D1A.
For sure.
I might have been D1 AA, but I barely made it there. And even when I got there, coaches were like, you should have been a walk-on. Like that was bunk that you were a 3-star.
Yeah.
They always give you crap, and I didn't. I don't remember thinking failure would be an option, but looking back, it was like there was a lot of times where I could have been like, this ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
And they were even saying like, I don't think it's gonna work out. And then it was almost like all of a sudden that I broke through, got an opportunity. Like the guy that was supposed to be the starter got sick in camp. All of a sudden I'm going to ones when I wasn't, planning on. I wasn't supposed to be. But I'd put the work in and stuck around, and then all of a sudden I'm with the ones, and the ones are like, we want Lenny in there, and then I started the whole season. So
that's God, man, and that is it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like every kid wants to. You could have easily been like, I got a scholarship too, or oh, I'm number 2, I'm good. Like that's gonna be the starter no matter what. But you prepared yourself to be a starter. You were ready to be a starter, and then when you got an opportunity, you took advantage of it, and then you became a starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to worry about all the shit that they can't control. It's like focus on the things you can control. You know what I mean? When you focus on the things you can control, that's when the good shit happens. That's when you become successful.
Yeah.
That's when the opportunity comes, right?
Yeah.
Your preparation is going to meet, and then you're going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now it's up to you. Now you can control, do I lose this position or not?
Right.
Because you could have easily got the starter because he got sick. And then you're like, oh, I'm the starter now. I'm good.
Right.
And then he gets better, and then he comes right back in.
Yeah.
But you were just so good that they're like, ooh,
right.
Let's go with this Alex kid a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when all things are equal, a lot of coaches want to play the younger guy.
Yeah.
So that was in my favor too. But it was also the big opportunity for me was playing the center position where there's more than just the physical side that goes into it, right? So just the mesh with the old, I was surrounded by older guys, which was great. Made it way easier. But being able to act like, I think people say it a lot, like, being a general out there, but when it comes to being a general, it's not just like keeping a good attitude and being like a leader on the field, but it's the little intricate moments where you're able to make adjustments and work with the people around you to make things happen.
Yeah.
So like almost never, like if I had some highlight tape from college, there'd be some like cut blocks and things like that I was good at, pulling and cut blocking. But ultimately there wouldn't be any major killer knockout blows or huge pancakes, but it was just the little moments where the fit with the guard was just perfect because I had worked with him on it. I'd worked on it myself. We'd worked together on it. And so we just had great double teams. We were getting to linebackers, and we had Jaquiz Rogers behind us with the threat of James Rogers going outside. And it was just a magical time to be at Oregon State.
I know. Just do a little bit, and they're gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stay on them,
stay
balanced.
Just do a little bit.
Get hats on hats.
Yeah.
And that was incredible.
But that's kind of, obviously I've never been on the line. Actually, I did play D-line a little bit in Pop Warner, though. I was a killer.
Really?
Though. Yeah, I was
D
killer.
end?
No, nose guard.
Wow.
I was middle linebacker, and then the one game, our nose guard was not getting to the quarterback, so I went down there and got on there.
Put your hand in the dirt? Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if I ever even played nose because I was playing D end and I was big, and then I got to high school and they needed they didn't have enough linebackers.
Yeah.
But we had giants at D line, so like I kept going to the D ends because my dad's like, well, obviously you're not a linebacker.
Yeah.
And I like playing linebacker because I prefer to like be able to run and make more tackles and not just clog up holes.
Exactly.
So then the coach comes and he's like, why are you running with the D ends? He's like, you could start at outside linebacker.
Yeah.
I'm like 250, 260 as a sophomore, but
that's
if
pretty big,
if that's what you want, let's go.
Yeah.
So I started running with the linebackers and started as a sophomore all season at outside linebacker.
See, there you go. So that probably made you a better own lineman too, though.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. The fact that what's crazy with me is I look back and it's like every little factor had to play out for me to like just barely catch somebody's attention to get that one scholarship offer, and that was all you need, right? And it was the recruiting, the marketing stuff going around to schools, that was big. And guys like the reporters, we made friends with them, that was big. But and I went to Oregon State's camp for 5 seasons in a row.
Oh, nice.
And so
they're
Coach Riley
familiar
came
with
back
you.
and watched me grow every year. So it was like, and still they probably were like, let's offer him. We need to get some steam rolling. He's got those 3 stars. Let's offer him. So it all just kind of like there's a lot of luck involved.
Yeah.
But it was when I was 4, my mom had me tap dancing.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 4, 5, 6, 7, I was playing basketball.
Yeah.
When I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I was wrestling. I was like I was thinking about it yesterday. I was doing trampoline and gymnastics.
Yeah.
I was playing baseball. Like, I just got so much competitive and athletic development as a child. And I look around today, and obviously, like, there's a lot of kids that aren't getting that.
None.
Ping pong, like racquetball, tennis. Like, I was doing all that for fun, but like, and I don't even know if my dad had all that purpose behind it. I did Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And so by the time I was 18, I had this like extra sense, especially from wrestling, of balance and all that. But all that had to go in to making like me and my God-given body able to compete.
Yeah.
And then even then it was barely. And I had to like start at the bottom of the totem pole and eat crap. And then finally found the sunlight. And it was pretty crazy. Yeah, it a lot of times I think it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for this, and this.
Well, I mean, you brought up the word luck, and I say luck it's just your grind. You know what I mean? Like I got kind of lucky. It's like, well, did you get lucky, or did you just do all of these things and it put you in the right position to be successful when your time was?
100%.
You know what I mean? Like
our high school coach would say, his biggest catchphrase. He has all these catchphrases.
Yeah.
He was like a 30-year head coach, and his last season was my junior year. So like there was a lot of downside to that. Our weight room program was really outdated. I was lucky to also have outside trainers who were awesome. But he would say, luck. You guys know what luck is? It's when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
And you hear that a lot now, but that's the only place I heard it back then. But it's so true. It's like you create your own luck. But then still, when all the chips are down and you've done all the preparation, you still need that opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
But they tend to happen if you've put in the preparation.
Well, you just start. It's like if I knock on 1,000 doors, someone gonna open that thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I knock on one and no one opens, you're like, all right. Well,
exactly.
I didn't get lucky.
100%.
It's like, no, I just knocked on 1,000 doors.
Yep.
Well, I always tell every kid and parent in our consultations that we have when training, I go, what's your crazy, mind-blowing goal, whatever.
Yep.
Oh, I want to play in the NFL. Okay, that's great. Okay. So now it's like this. They usually start with like a D1 or something like that. I go, that's like the top 1%. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was like, you have to put 1,000% effort into this, and you will still not make it. There's a high probability that you're not gonna make it.
Yep.
And they're like, I was like, but the thing is, if you don't put 1,000% in, you for sure won't make it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's I talk about this a lot, but like that's the mental craziness that we gotta have, an obsession. It's like you gotta go to the camp 5 years in a row. You gotta go to market yourself outside of that. You gotta go train in the garage with the homie. You gotta go learn how to be a better football player. You gotta play defense. You gotta play offense. You got to get your good grades.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
all of it.
All of that, right? You got to, and then it's like, bro, what'd you say? You barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
You barely made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you did all of that, which is probably 1,000 times more than these kids these days, or just anybody in general, not even these days, but right?
Right.
And you barely made it.
Barely.
But then this is where the kids get caught up, is they see that, or they're doing that, right? But then they see this kid not doing shit.
Right.
Kicking it, eating bad, and he has 10 scholarships.
Yeah.
And so then they get discouraged.
Yeah.
And they're like, why am I doing all of this work and doing all this, and I don't got nothing, and this kid over here doesn't really have to do anything, and he has all the offers and all the hype. It's like, you got to understand, man, that's the fast dollar.
Yep.
You want the slow dime.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They got the fast dollar, be the slow dime. Keep stacking and compounding,
Yep.
right? Because at the end of the day, where'd you go? To the league. You know what I'm saying? You went to the combine, which they invite the best athletes at your position, or
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was. I remember a few times feeling a little discouraged when I saw, the 6'6" kid who listed his max bench as like 225 or something as a going into a senior year. And I at the time could do like 18 reps at 225 going into my senior year of high school.
Beastie.
And like I said, I had good guidance and put the work in, you know, and I'm constantly telling kids like the real amount of grind it actually takes to make these transformations, like most people wouldn't be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like I was going home and puking as a 14, 15-year-old,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of guys aren't doing that. But I remember feeling discouraged, and I even like expressed that to one of the coaches in recruiting. I was like, you guys offered that guy, and I was like, and I looked at his tape and looked at his numbers, and I was just like, I mean, it seems like he's only got like he's just a frame. And then the coach was like, don't let that get to you. Don't be discouraged by that. You know, just focus on you.
Yeah.
Like you're different, and you're gonna be fine. And then I ended up going to that very school, and he was my O-line coach. You know, and the other guy
Was that Coach Cav?
That was Coach Cav.
Yeah.
Yeah. During recruiting, he's like, don't worry about that, and he'll shoot you straight. You know.
Yeah, Coach. I'm kind of linked up with Coach Cav because my trainer Chad Ike is linked up with him as well.
Coach Cav's dialed into the Hawaiian community.
It's that poly connection.
He coached
man.
at Hawaii for like 4 years, 5 years.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
Before Oregon State.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he had that like pipeline. I mean, Oregon State usually had a pipe. I mean, they had shit. Who was they had Al Afalava.
We had, I think we had like 20 on average for the 5 seasons I played. Every season there was 20 to 25 Hawaiians or Polynesians, Tongans, Samoans. It's just a straight pipeline coming in. And we were getting them, and then like Oregon was getting them too.
Yeah.
And then obviously like BYU and Utah had them. But like there's a lot, those years, there's just strong.
Yeah.
Kamehameha was bringing a lot of guys.
Yeah.
St. Louis. So that was awesome.
Hey man, if you want to get a pipeline to successful football players, you got to get the poly pipeline, man.
Lifting with those guys, eating with those guys, like hanging out with those guys is always awesome.
Always.
So much fun.
I think that's one culture, like that's one culture that like you got to experience, right? Because it's like they'll whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm.
They'll outcompete you.
Yep.
They will have the best manners.
Yep.
And,
Totally
and
good
be
manners.
so respectful. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, and I think that's where, I mean, my mother, she was a single parent. And my dad's family, they're all from like the Bay, right? So it's like I had that culture.
Yep.
And then my mom's family is adopted. So we had like kind of like coastal white Oregon kind of culture. We didn't really see them that much. But then it's like she worked at All About Travel. It's like a travel agency, like all about Hawaii. All About Hawaii? All About Travel? Whatever. It was a travel agency.
Specializing in Hawaii?
And yeah, they had a lot of connections to Hawaii Airlines and all that. So, we'd be able to go out there, and obviously she got into the culture, and it was just like, I mean, she always just raised us like that. Like, you know what I mean? We're some little killers, like athletic, ballers, but then like we're always going to hold the door open for, somebody. We're always going to say please and thank you.
Yep.
Like have your manners. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and I only knew that because that was just our family. But then getting around the Polynesian culture, I'm like, oh, this is our people. Like this is what, like I'm comfortable with this. I know this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always respected that and loved that.
Big time. It was. I hadn't thought about it too much, but like it was a real blessing being surrounded by that, and other cultures too, through football.
Yeah.
But the way that those guys, the work they put in the weight room and the natural strength was awesome. Playing with Stephen Paella, one of the strongest guys ever.
Bruh.
Ridiculously dense. He made me better. Like practicing against him all the time was
he's a
crazy.
freak. I don't think that he even knows. But like me, I'm the type of person where I'm a competitor. So I want to be the strongest, fastest wherever I'm in any room, right? I don't care if it's training, kicking it, actual foot, whatever it is. And so, I'm a weight room guy. And we used to train out in Hawaii, right? Together,
Yeah.
And he's one of the probably few people that like, man, I'm going to bed early because I got to get up and get my rest. I got to train. I got to get my mind right. Him, he's just rolling, he's just a freak. But like, I'm like, nah, bruh. Like, I'm secretly competing against you right now.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
Man.
No, but that's my guy, man.
49 reps at 225.
And really though, he could have had probably 60, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
I think
a freak.
his best I saw was in the 50s.
Yeah,
when he was preparing.
he's a freak. I remember there's only two people that I was just like, geez. Adrian Wilson from the Cardinals, and then him, freaks.
Yeah.
Like that I've trained with. I mean, pause.
Yeah.
There's hella freaks that I've trained with, but those two dudes are for sure 1 and 2 of like. I remember hitting 405 my first time, like struggling, got it up. I'm juiced. I'm happy as hell. A-Dub comes. Looks at me. I'm like, bruh, what the like that was like the first moment. And then Steven, man, same thing.
Yep.
I'm lifting. I'm feeling. I'm strong. You know what I'm saying? He come in just baby weight, baby food. It's warm up for him.
Yeah, he grew up playing rugby. This is something so cool about being in this line of work and in this field. It's like you see so many just different stories. You know, we talked about how I did all that stuff growing up and what our origins was like. But like he grew up playing rugby in Samoa or Tonga, I believe Samoa, and then he went to he came to the States to play football. Went to junior college, Snow College.
Oh, in Utah.
Was just raw. And then one of his teammates, D-line teammates, got recruited to Oregon State and turned around to the coaches like, we need to get this guy. So I remember he came in. I think he had 3 to play 3. And I remember on his first couple days in pads, everybody having trouble with him. But, like, I was getting my hands on him and locking him up. And that was the only day that happened. The next day, it seemed like he figured out how to, like, not let you get your hands on him. And we had, like, because we didn't change our snap count much, which is something I'm like famously salty about. You know, as a center, like I always wanted us to work on our snap count. And I understand much more now as to why it wasn't good, but they were able to jump the count in practice.
Yeah.
So we had like rules around Stephen Paella that, like, if he slanted on you and you weren't expecting it, like they said, don't even try to like get back on him.
Yeah.
Because he was like, guys were tearing their pecs and stuff, trying to hold him. So. Ridiculous. So it was really great being teammates with those guys and not having to play against them.
Yeah, guaranteed.
It made the games feel easy.
Yeah, because you do your job on offense and you're like, oh, we're good.
Yeah, and that was Coach Cav too. Coach Cav's whole philosophy was built around like stack on the pressure in practice, like pressure the hell out of you, not just like blitzes, but like physical, verbal pressure. You know, and like that was very, very difficult to go through as a young guy.
Yeah.
And then he was right, though, because he always said, the reason I put the pressure on is so the games feel easy.
Exactly.
So when they're in the games and they're not jumping the snap count, and it's not Stephen Paella, and it's not Coach Cav behind you, it's like, whew, way easier.
I mean, that's where, like, the competition breeds success, right?
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, right? You know, you're going against...
Pressure makes diamonds.
Pressure makes diamonds, man, or pressure breaks pipes, though. You know what I'm saying? What you going to be, diamond or pipe. But
interesting.
It's you went against one of the top D linemen in the country.
Yeah. Every day.
In practice every day.
Every day.
Everybody else is doo-doo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they shy away from competition.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to go against him every day. I'm going to get beat. I'm going to do... Like, bro, because then you go take the doo-doo in practice, and then when you get to the game and you find a dude, and now you're looking bad in the game. Like, over-exaggerate this stuff in practice.
Yeah.
Go through the shit in practice. Grind in practice, so when, like you said, or Coach Cal said, in the games it's easy.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one going to be better than him, or very few. You know what I mean? So already mentally, you're like, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm good right now. Yeah. That's not Steven. I feel, I'm cool. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like when you don't shy away from that and you put yourself in those positions, right? That's when you can become successful, right? Because I like hard, difficult situations. You know what I mean? Now, is it easy? Is it enjoyable? No, not all the time. But it's like I find it challenging because it's like it makes you better. It gets you through. Like, you know, people always say, you know, the cold shower in the morning or a cold plunge, or, you know, everybody's doing that now. But it's like it's not necessarily the physical benefits. It's the mental. It's the I don't want to do this. It's doing the hard things. It's like telling your body like this is not negotiable, man.
Yep.
Like I'm going in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm tired right now. It's like, it's non-negotiable. I got 3 more quarters to go.
Yep.
Like, let's go. Turn that bullshit off in my brain and let's just fucking go. You know what I mean? So I like kind of putting myself in hard positions sometimes, or difficult positions, or positions that make me question, make me question myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then that gives me an opportunity to shut my shit up. Like, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you never kind of train your mind to do that, or your body, then when a situation like that happens, you don't know how to adjust.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to adapt. So then it's like, that's when people crumble. That's when people fail.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's I think in today's world, because I've seen it a few times as well, and it happened back then too, but like there's almost, and I guess everybody would talk about kind of like the softness like that's come about, and I think for starters, you do have less situations of pressure, situations of difficulty for young kids.
Yeah.
There's more, coddling and sheltering.
Yeah.
Putting in less of those situations, but also there's also more outs. There's more like, oh, it's okay. Maybe you're not cut out for this. Like they're reinforcing some of those like
excuses
and
You
negative
know what I
thoughts.
mean? Like,
because I was thinking back to like my lowest points at Oregon State when it wasn't looking like I was going to make it through, when I was getting like constantly dumped physically and mentally by older guys my age. Like, just generally, I had every reason to quit at different times. But I was looking back and it was like I just never even thought of it. Like, it didn't seem like an option. You know what I mean? And now I'll see somebody who dies in the tunnel, as they say.
the portal or
just like generally like they're in that moment where they need to persevere, and they're like, oh well, I guess it's not for me, and so they'll give up or generally fall off. And then there's other kids that don't, that stick it through and make it. But it really, like you said earlier, it comes down to what your ultimate dream and vision is. So when I'm working with kids, a lot of times I'll ask what that is as well, and it's hard because you can have the almost like superficial kind of, I want to play in the NFL, but then they're not putting in the work. They're not doing much like to get towards that. It's just a want. It's not a dream. You know what I mean? And then you have other kids who are like, yeah, I mean, I'd like to play college football if it becomes an option. Like I'll see, like in a couple of years, we'll see like what the status is. And I'll be like, that's very similar to NASA being like, we'd like to get a rocket to the moon. But like we're not sure if we can make it, so we're just gonna aim that way and just shoot off and see. Like we'll see, we'll see if we get there. Like no, they calculate exactly how much fuel's needed. They do all the training needed for each astronaut. Like there's a ton of work that goes specifically into it, and you have to be the same way. If your mission is the moon, you've got to do the calculations and find out the daily actions, to do that. So. With me, I was able to do that in my football career. I had great guidance. Again, I was very blessed in so many ways to have. I mean, I don't think, like, if my dad didn't do it just the way he did it with all those other sports and everything, and also was a single parent from the time I was 8. We kind of have that in common, losing a parent young. So it was very challenging. He had 4 kids for a little while. He was remarried, and she had 4 kids too. So we had 8 kids. It was just a wild kind of
the Brady Bunch.
It was a messy upbringing in that way, but so much different experience dealing with loss, dealing with healing and grieving, and then dealing with being in a house with 8 kids, half of them my family, half of them some other family, and then to that ending. So just a very diverse kind of experience. And I had a ton of different friends I changed schools in that time, from public to private, and then back to public. But from playing t-ball to all the different sports I did, met so many cool dudes and developed incredible friendships. And then into college, same thing. And put into a very fortunate situation, had clear goals when I was 6 or 7. I was drawing pictures of myself playing in the NFL. There was never a moment where that wasn't the dream and the goal. And just to get college paid for was my attitude coming through high school. Getting into college, I do wish that I would have kept the NFL dream more front and center in my training. For me, I was kind of a little bit meek about wanting that. Like I was kind of like, oh, I mean, like I barely made it here. Are they really going to give me that shot? And then there I am wearing a Bears uniform in camp. Like,
exactly.
Like, damn, I wish I kind of would have believed in this a little harder, you know. But at the same time, I put the grind in and earned that chance to be there. And so, like, today, it's interesting being here, Wake Your Life Up podcast, because it's a similar situation now where I'd, like, maybe up to this time, you know, I've been grinding, training kids, training individuals, and I have big dreams for the next thing, you know, my next NFL. But, like, I do have to kind of ask myself, and I'm at a pivotal moment where it's like, okay, now I need to do what I did then and put that front and center and start chipping away at that. And it really, I'm grateful to just even have the opportunity to be alive and to be here, like, with freedom. You know, it's an amazing thing. But I, you know, I've been, to me, the key ingredient to change is starting off with diet and fitness. Like, if you don't have that piece going, it's very difficult to make any other change. So right now I'm doing a weight loss challenge with a couple other big guys. Mm-hmm. And I would kind of like to, on the side of training linemen and building a lineman community, I'd like to get into like group weight loss as a business too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of how I'm looking at it going into it. But it's, you always forget how good it feels to be on the up and up health-wise.
Yeah.
And when you feel good and you're doing good, you forget how terrible it feels on the other side too. But it's very difficult to be consistent. It's difficult to, like, always be 100% on, and then it's difficult to come out when you're 100% off.
Yeah.
You know, so the question for me is, like, what's, like, I think there's value in the sleeping moments and the waking moments, you know, like it's difficult to stay that awoke in life, that wake your life up. It's hard to be that every single day. And obviously that's the goal.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're waking up often, you're going to get strong at doing that too.
I think that, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The physical and obviously the dieting, right?
Yeah.
That's going to translate to the mental, right? And that's going to help everything else. That is the hardest part.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what people don't realize, like, on the internet. Like, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit before, but I could sit back here and talk all the motivational stuff that I want and sound deep and inspirational, put some cute little thing on, but, like, what are you doing? Stand up, pull your shirt off. Let me see what you look like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're such a motivational person, right? If you're a grinder, if you're a mentor, if you're a coach, how can you not motivate yourself to do the things that you're preaching online?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's where, like, in my point, that's where I'm mentally just, like, crazy with it, because it's like, I'm fearful if someone's going to check me, right? How am I going to be the savage, not average guy, and I'm average as hell?
Right.
But I'm preaching it, though. It sounds good, right? I can sit behind this mic and talk savage, not average shit all motherfucking day.
Yeah.
But then if I took my sweater off and I look like a doo-doo,
Yeah.
how real is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I want to be the grind time guy because I'm grinding every day.
Yeah.
I am the savage, not average guy because I am a savage at everything I do. And I don't want to be average. You know what I mean? And it starts with the fit. Like, I'd rather be sore because I lifted 600 pounds than be sore because my core is weak, my stomach is too big, my diet is bad, and I can barely get out of bed and my back hurts.
Yeah.
It's like, choose what you want. You know what I mean? And it's harder to do the physical part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
This shit is easy. I could talk behind this mic all day.
Right.
And I could spill all the little nice, juicy little tips, go online and write and recite whatever next financial. I could be the financial guru.
Yeah.
Right? And my bank account could be zero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I could just copy and repost whatever the next financial dude that's actually doing it, right?
Right.
But it's hard to actually get your finances right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could be the motivational guy. But it's hard to actually be motivated in your own life. You know what I mean? I could be the trainer guy.
Yeah.
But it's like, let me see what you look like. And there's no excuse to it. You're like, oh, you don't have to be a meathead to be a strength coach and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, well, look at all the best strength coaches, right? unless they're like just hella old. But look at all the ones that are like 30s to 50s. You know, they have something going on, right? They're looking physically fit, right? And look at all the real motivational speakers, right? They add the physical part in it because they know how important it is. Because they know how that's the main thing, that the hardest part to stay consistent with.
Yeah.
Right? How you can't be talk about consistency and grind and getting through the ups and the downs and this and that. If you can't get your butt up off that bed, into that weight room and touch them weights. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't got to do squat 600 pounds.
Right.
But you got to do something and consistently, right? You know what I'm saying?
That's really the key. And I think a lot of people build up, you know, and there's been times where I've been there, you know, and it really just it doesn't take much to get started.
Yeah.
Like, you can start small, you can start slow. And that's where I think it's I love the niche of the big guy because most of those guys want to lose weight, you know. And I think if you have a goal, a simple goal of losing some pounds, it's just a great instigator for anything else.
It's addicting though, too, though. Like,
get you started.
Like, that's what people don't realize. Like, they'll see that person over there and they're like, oh my God, they're doing that. It's like, you can't control that, man. Control what you can control. You can control getting up, walking. Walking 10 minutes, 3 times a day. You can control not eating that McDonald's right there. You know what I'm saying? You can control what goes in. Is it hard? Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you can control. You have physical, mental control over that. You know what I mean? You can't control that guy over there that's probably on steroids anyways, what he look like. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And then it's like this. It's more of you can't out-train a bad diet. Right? I don't care how hard you work in the gym. If you eat like shit, your body's going to look mediocre. You know what I'm saying? You can't out-train bad sleep, right? I don't care how hard you train. If your sleep is bad, your body's going to be mediocre, or it's just not going to maximize its potential, right? And then, right, the key to all of it, the key to success is consistency. You know what I mean? You don't have to eat well all the time. You don't have to eat, or just, you don't have to go from eating shit to strict diet, right? You don't have to go from getting 4 hours of sleep to getting 10 hours of sleep, right? But you got to be or the weight room. You don't got to go every single day, 2 times a day, whatever. But it's the consistency is key, right? You got to go to the gym, tap in every day. You don't have to have it. It doesn't have to be high intensity, but just do a warm up, do some stretching, touch some weights, right? Eating wise, right? If you know it's bad, don't eat the cereal, right? Okay, you already had your serving. Don't eat the extra little bit. You know what I mean? Sleep-wise, okay, you went from 4 hours of sleep, shitty sleep cycles, to you're not going to get the 10 off the rip, right? Get that extra hour, get the 5.
You can start small.
Next day gets, you know what I'm saying? And then that's the consistency part, right? So that's the key to success, consistency.
100%. Having a goal in mind, having a vision, having a plan, you know, a purpose, and then being consistent with the actions that get you there, even if it's small changes.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's where a lot of people just, and it has happened to me at times too, where it's like you see all the different, like it gets complicated in your mind. You see the complexity of like, it's like, man, I can't look like you because I see everything that goes into it, and I just know I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. And so for one, you got to start where you are. Like if you're a 13-year-old and you've missed your opportunity to be a tap dancer, karate artist, wrestler, well, then you got to look at where you're at and what can you just start doing now to take a first step in that direction. And then the consistency comes with it. The momentum is a good word, because that builds. Like for me, when I started diet, that first week, I like to make it like as hardcore as I can to to get the momentum rolling. But it doesn't always go perfectly. But I love to do kind of short bursts of dieting, lose weight fast, and then kind of like cruise, level it out on that. And if you're gonna eat delicious things like I eat, like I'm a foodie, you know, I love
Why you think I train, dog? I train because
100%.
I eat.
100%.
I love food.
Same thing.
If I could eat chicken wings and pizza every night,
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, it's genetics." It's like, bro, let's not do that, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Genetics go so far, sure.
Yep.
But it's hard work and consistency. Because when you keep saying it's genetics, you're taking away, you're discrediting everything I fucking do every single day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I look at it. Yeah, I have maybe some better genetics than people, but it's like I only hear you discrediting all the hard work I put in and the consistency I put it in, right?
Yep.
Like people don't realize, bro. I'm up 6:30, try to get the kids ready. I come to the gym. I train all morning. I take a quick second to grab a quick little bite to eat. Then I'm back training all day. And then sometimes I don't get to work out until damn near 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Then I come and work out. Then I try to do recovery. Then I do sauna, stretching, do, my accessory lifts. And then I go home 11 o'clock, see my kids. I don't even see my kids at night. Kiss my girl. And then it's back to the grind again.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, it's genetics." I
Right.
go, "Oh, all right."
Yeah.
"Oh, all right."
Yeah. Genetics plays a factor. Like in my case, I have decent genetics, like for my dad's side especially, but my mom's side was like very English and not super athletic, like all her brothers and stuff. Nice people, good hearts, but I had to overcome the genetic side a little bit to get where I got. You know, there's probably 1,000 guys that had similar builds and sets of genetics who didn't get it, and it was all those extras that went into it. So I guess I don't share that plight. Nobody's been like, "Oh, you just have the genetics."
Yeah.
Nobody's given that to me.
Yeah.
But no, clearly, to look like you look, you gotta put that work in. And if anybody's saying that, then they're obviously just what some would call it haters, but ultimately making excuses for themselves.
Well, yeah, and then too, like, I don't like to me. I don't know. It's one of those things where you're talking about. We were kind of talking about a little bit. It's excuses, man. Like any shit that I don't have or any problem that I have, like I got to look myself in the mirror and be like, "That's you," right? We talk about, "Oh, it's genetics. I'm buff." Da da da. I could complain about like, "Oh, I grew up broke, single parent, no money." I could complain about that. I could use that as an excuse all day. But where's that going to get me?
Right.
I grew up right around this area, probably 10 minutes away, less than 10 minutes away. I went to a nice public school, but all the kids that I went to school with, they live up on the hill up there, right? I lived in a little shitty-ass apartment. I know it was a cool apartment, but it was just, no, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Low-income stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was the poor kid, right? Or the broke kid, you feel me? And with all these rich kids on the hill, going to school with them, feeling some type of way, I could have just kept doing that. Oh, I'm the poor kid. I didn't get a good education. I didn't focus. I had, other shit going on. I'm a single parent, blah, 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 blah. But now I got a 12,000 square foot facility 5 minutes down the road on the biggest highway in our area with the school I went to.
Right.
And I would have never got anything like that if I would have just kept using excuses. Now, I'm not saying I didn't use those excuses before, and that's why the success wasn't as much or the path was harder, because I used excuses. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't get recruited.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, they're hating on me. Coaches ain't trying to help me out." No, bruh. Okay, I'm undersized, but it doesn't matter. I didn't go to class.
Right.
I got bad grades. I was getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was a knucklehead, and I didn't work as hard as I thought I did. You know what I mean? Not even close.
Right.
So it's like, no, it's not because I'm short. It's because you didn't put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow for people.
Yeah.
That was a hard pill to swallow for myself. I'm like, that was you, bruh. And it took me, I'm older now, so it took me until now to be like, nah, it wasn't them. Now they could have helped me. They could have guided a kid that didn't really have much easily. That's why I do what I do. But at the end of the day, it's not their fault. It's not their responsibility. It's mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I don't take responsibility to this day of it right now, I can't move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I got to tell myself every day, like, this on you, brother. You know what I mean? No excuses. No. And if this is what I really want, to have a sports facility in my hometown, then I can't make excuses. And there's no other options. So when you got 3 years of COVID and financially it's a freaking money pit, there's no other option.
Right.
You think about quitting. How many gyms quit and shut down? How many just restaurants or employees got fired or quit, whatever, right? It just never crossed my mind to quit. It still hasn't. Yeah. And it's still hard as shit. You know what I'm saying? But it just never crossed my mind to quit.
Yeah.
And it's still, so it's like, I don't know nothing else but just moving forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's a tough one, you know? I mean, like, I'm kind of one of those that kind of generally believes things happen for a reason, you know, and there's no losses, there's just lessons.
Yes.
And another one I came across lately I like is this failure is never final. There's another lineman trainer out there, Logan Tully-Tillman, who has that kind of as his tagline, and I like that. You know, it's like you might fail, you might lose, you might fall short, you know, but more doors open, and you can take those lessons into the next thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a hard balance because we can sit and like the general gist of it is like, you know, have a goal and be consistent. But there are kids who have a goal of playing in the NFL who just physically are never going to have that chance, whether it's height or strength or whatever. Maybe they could have started sooner and put themselves in that position. You know, I think that like guys like us are proof of that, overcoming physical attributes. But I've just worked with a ton of kids, and you've probably seen it too, where there's a kid who's like trying to decide if he's going to play college football at a small school or go into something else. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that like part of it should be like don't let it stress you out or worry too much. If you're thinking about quitting, then perhaps there's something else that you should be doing. Yeah. Something else that your ikigai. Do you know the concept Ikigai?
Ikigai was
a Japanese concept. It basically is.
I think I heard that
purpose.
on the internet.
Yeah, it kind of made the rounds the last couple of years, but it basically means purpose. But it's cool because it's like a Venn diagram. There's 4 sides, and then where they all meet in the middle is Ikigai.
Like what you should do, or what
you're good at, what the world needs, what you love doing, and what you can get paid for. So then the middle where they all meet is Ikigai.
Yeah, we'll tag that on there.
Nice. Yeah, I like that one. And so I always think about that, and it's like I really believe that if you can find something that meets all those, what you're good at, what the world needs, what you get paid for, like we're living in a golden age of being able to attack that.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I've had kids before that were like, my parents want me to go here. I'm trying to decide, but also kind of like the idea of going to the bigger state school and studying design. Yeah. You know, and then I say, well, you don't have to play college football. Like, if you're about to walk on.
I know what you're talking about, too.
Yeah. And it's like, no, hey, if it's in your heart to, like, go down the design route, like, lose some weight, like, have the college experience, like, you know, if he was a stone cold killer and, like, meant for the NFL, then I'd be like, hey, follow this path.
Shout out Luke, man.
Hey, he's a great guy.
Shout out Luke Quaylar, man. If you want to need design, edits.
Hell yeah. Phenomenal designer. And he's come to me since then and said, thank you for being the one that gave me permission to, like, do that, you know? So everybody's a little different. Yeah. Not everybody's meant to, like, find their first dream. Mm-hmm. But if you are young enough to make the changes needed to reach it and you really want it, then quitting won't cross your mind. Yeah. Like for you with this, quitting won't cross your mind. For me at Oregon State, quitting didn't cross my mind.
But I think that, and I know what you're saying though, like I think it's just this. I think that you should maximize this, or like him playing football. Like, should I play football or should I go into graphic designing, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, can you play football and graphic design? Right. You know what I mean? Okay, no. You got a great opportunity at Oregon State to be a graphic designer, or you got an opportunity to play at a smaller school, right? What brings you more passion? Yeah. You're not quitting football. You're just going to tech. Like if he's like, I don't know, I'm done with football. Right. And I'm just chilling. That's a fucking quitter. Right. That's quitting. But he has another path where he's like, absolutely. And where you talk about what was the failure is not final.
Failure is never final.
I like that. I always use the fail forward.
Fail forward, yeah.
Right? So fail forward. So he Say that, he had an opportunity to play football, but this graphic design opportunity came up, and he's like, man, I want to take this. He takes that, and it doesn't work out. That's failing forward, right? You didn't fail. I don't like to use the word fail, but like, say it didn't work out, right? But you're going forward. You're moving forward to something. You know what I mean? You're not just quitting football, and then it's just, all right, I'm just going to be a regular dude.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if anybody ever said that, I don't care. Like, don't be a regular dude. And I'm not disrespecting anybody like that, but it's like, if you've played sports, right? Obviously, we're just going to use football. If you play football all your life and you get to that turning point where it's like, damn, am I good enough? Do I still want to continue to do this? I tell you this, yes, because a few things. One, it's going to keep you with that discipline, that structure. How many more connections do you meet through football, right? You were just saying all these families, these people, these experiences, right, through football, right? It's hard being a regular 9-to-5 student. You know what I mean? Waking up, going there. You might meet people, but that's more of the social part. You're meeting people on the back end where it's like, oh, I'll see you Thursday. I'll see you Friday. Damn, I'm hungover Sunday. Back to class. Like, you know what I mean? Let's go out and happy hour. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meet people on the physical part, with that circle, right? Meet your brothers that are doing the same things, because you guys are all on the same grind. We're doing the same things as normal people, but we got to physically throw our bodies out there like that.
Yeah.
That takes different kind of mindset and different people,
Yep.
right? I want to be around those people. You know what I mean? And then what do you develop? Why do people want to hire ex-athletes? Because we know how to get up early. We know how to work hard. We've handled adversity. We've gone through the shit. Yeah. We know how to get up out this shit. You know what I'm saying? We have been in tough situations, and mentally and physically. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A boss cusses us out, we're not going to cry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on what he's talking about, but you know what I mean? But we're just going to be like, yep, yes, sir. Yes, coach. Shit, that's my head coach cussing me out because I did something wrong. Yeah. Right? Some people like the entitlement, the softness, like, don't talk to me like that. It's like, now you're not going to get nowhere like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to fail forward if you have the option to go this, right? Yep. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, take that option. That's cool. Yeah. Great. You know what I mean? Long as you're grinding to something, right?
Right. Exactly. It's a shift. It's a pivot.
Yeah.
It's just, you see today there are kids, young kids, that ultimately give up. And so I guess the point of my message is, with the failures never final in mind, with Ikigai in mind, if you have to be smart about the path you take in terms of reality. If, like, looking at the way that happened to me, quitting never entered my mind, and I just kept climbing that totem pole, and I quote unquote made it where I wanted to be. So it's like, no matter how dark and gloomy and bad you feel, no matter how bad things look, there's a certain, like, failure just never final is about a certain trust that things will work out eventually. Yeah. If you just keep alive, if you just keep grinding, keep waiting, going. Keep grinding, keep searching, keep meeting people, and sports is the most incredible way to do that. Yeah, and it can blossom into other things. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, you just got to stay with it, and that's exactly what we've done through the pandemic here. It's just staying with it, and now we're both heading towards, trying to do more digitally. Yeah, it's an incredible time to be alive.
This is if you're not on your way to doing something great at this time, 2023, you are asleep. But yeah, man, Alex, Line Pro, Linnenkohl, man, thank you so much for coming out to the Wake Your Life Up podcast, man. I appreciate you, my brother.
My pleasure, man. Look forward to being back.
Yes, sir.
Just getting started.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you, man.
Dress it up and make it
That's
real
a good
fun.
one.